What's up, everyone? Daniel here. It's time to review Mr. Robot Season 2, Episode 10, spoiler review. Make sure you have seen the episode. Should take me about 2 minutes to recap it, then I'll give you the pros, cons, final score. Thanks so much for joining me. So in the beginning, we have Price talking to Colby. They're in Price's office, and Price is talking about, I like being the most powerful man in the room, and all that stuff there. Elliot is talking to Tyrell's wife. Her name is Joanna. I think I got that name right. I don't like Tyrell's wife. I mean, she is a goddess, but I mean, she's annoying. So anyway, she hands him the phone that Tyrell supposedly sent her, and all this stuff, and he's like, what? He's alive. No, but Mr. Robot told me I killed him. So he's looking at the phone, and she's like, can you trace it for me? He ends up denying her, but I guess he ends up taking the deal, obviously, because her big security guard probably frightened him or something, shook his wiggle. So he goes to the hardware store, the phone rings, and you could hear Tyrell breathing, or it sounds like a white guy breathing. So basically, Mr. Robot ends up vanishing. Well, I mean, he's not real for one thing, so obviously he'd vanish because he's not there. Anyway, I guess Joanna gave Elliot a bunch of money to buy this hardware anyway, but Susan's place is being investigated, of course. I guess they found her body and everything, so Dom is there. Vincent internally bleeding out. Francis brought Vincent from Susan's house or whatever and brought it to Darlene, and she's like, well, I'm not taking him to the hospital and everything. He knows my face. He knows me. Like, he could give up information, you know? They ended up taking him to the hospital because Francis ended up telling her that you need to quit. You need to quit now. We need to get this and help Vincent. So anyway, and he's internally bleeding very bad, by the way. So after that, Elliot ends up finding Tyrell's location. It is in New York, actually, not so far away where his location is at. The FBI is in Francis's apartment, obviously where Darlene lives as well. Mr. Robot, again, I said is MIA. He's missing in action. Elliot visits Angela on a train. He's being a little creepy, but he ends up talking to her. Angela says that she's going to turn herself in. I'm going to do it. I won't mention you or anything, but it will catch up to you one day. And I thought it was like, finally, I think that moment of relief whenever Elliot got up and it was a perfect angle and he's standing there and she's standing there and they're right in front of each other. He has to get off the train. He ends up kissing her, man, and almost like an awkward kiss at the beginning because she was kind of like, not like, but I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it was very slow, and it wasn't, like, looking passionate at first, but then they ended up kissing, and I think we've all been waiting for that. I think ever since Elliot and Angela, since we've seen them, I'm like, Elliot likes Angela a little bit. I think there could be, like, a crush there, a little love interest there. That happens, man, and then Dominique ends up finding Darlene and Francis. This ending alone, and I say this all the time, but it's true. If this scene, if there were scenes for most amazing ending at an Emmy or Golden Globes, this would take the cake. This scene alone, the way it's written, the way it's directed, the way it's acted out, earns a frickin' award. The Dark Army comes and starts shooting up the diner. We don't even know if Darlene's okay. Francis may be dead. Dom ends up coming out, somehow she's not shot, and she ends up killing the Dark Army guy gets shot. He ends up killing himself. You see his brain splatter everywhere from a faraway place. The other guy ends up leaving. I don't know why they don't pursue him, but these guys, the Dark Army, they look like something Deadpool would kill in the beginning of Deadpool on that bridge. They're literally wearing all the same attire and stuff. You know how I feel. So that is the ending of the episode. Dom is kind of like, oh my god, what happened and all that. Like, she's freaking out. Not really freaking out, but she knows what just happened. Obviously, the Dark Army attacked. She's seen it before. Anyway, now on to the pros and cons. I am so glad that we live in a world where Mr. Robot has great openings and definitely great endings. Elliot became MacGyver during this episode. He was creating a satellite out of Pringles can and everything. I don't know if that's actually really possible. Maybe he just gave us some tips how to do that, but that was really, really cool trick. Also, the idea of Mr. Robot disappearing is really interesting. As always, the way Mr. Robot is filmed is fantastic. Now, don't get me wrong, all of Elliot's scenes were really good this week, but Francis and Darlene were just so entertaining to watch. Obviously, that big argument in the apartment, He says to get your crap together and everything, and you're not the one who planned all this. You don't have really no talent, he's saying, where you don't have power over this and all that. You're just kind of there. You're just kind of in on all this. As well, at the end, they're having fun at the diner. See how they change from their moods, how they kind of got comfortable to each other. Because they're always fighting. They're always at each other's necks. And Darlene always wants her way, and then he's, trying to go against the way. But at the end, when they're at the diner and they're actually talking, and she's like, you asshole, and everything, like, they're actually there, and, they like each other's presence. I actually thought that was really cool to see. As well, Elliot and Angela actually kissing this episode. It's not even the finale yet. This is something big for a finale, but it happened here, and come on. Now, occasionally there are a few slow-paced scenes in this episode. You know what? This episode went by really quick. But yet, not a lot of stuff happened during this short piece of time. I was pissed that they didn't show Mobley and Trenton. To really sum up this episode, we found Tyrell's location. Mr. Robot went AWOL. Francis and Darlene were in a shooting at a diner. All great stuff. I also forgot to say the dialogue was great, as always, especially the opening with Colby and Price, the way that he said how he must be the powerful man, the powerfulest man in the room. Of course, he said like there's two places he ain't. I'm assuming the White House and Area 51 or something like that. I'm assuming two places. I know there probably is more. It's just a metaphor of what he's saying and all that. Obviously, he's not the most powerful man in the room every single place, but for sure, I like how he described it and everything, so 2 thumbs up there. I'm going to give Mr. Robot Season 2, Episode 10, a B+. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to smack that like button. You can comment down below. Tell me what you guys thought about the episode. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Love to hear your thoughts. You can share this review with your friends and hit that subscribe button for more awesome Mr. Robot reviews. We have 2 episodes left. And that's it, kids. Wait for Season 3 next year. Make sure, again, subscribe to join the Big D Nation. Kind of forgot my catchphrase over there. Join the Big D Nation. The road to 500 has begun. Thanks again. See you next week. Bye-bye.